Hey, it's Paul from howtoplaybassdotcom. In today's lesson, we're going to look at the bass line for I'm a Believer by the Monkees. This has been requested quite often. Now, before we go and get started with the verse, if you're not already a subscriber to my free monthly, you can click the link underneath the video and head over to my website and subscribe. In return for doing that, you'll get a sequence of song lessons, song tutorials in video and PDF format, plus there's a free song tutorial, again video and PDF format, every month. All that stuff's exclusive to subscribers. To go and do that and then come back here and we'll get started where the bass comes in, which is the verse after the kind of the organ intro and the guitar riff. So there's four sections that we need to look at. The first one of those is the verse, 8-bar section, 4-bar pattern repeated twice, pattern something like this. Okay, what we've got first is G to D to G to G. First bar is, which is G, G, D, G, E. G is the 5th fret of the D string, open D, E is the 2nd fret of the G string. So G, G, D, G, E. And the second bar, which is D, we're going to play, which is D, A, D, D, E, F sharp. D is the 5th fret, this time of the A string, open A string, 2 more Ds, E, F sharp, 2nd and 4th frets of the D string. Then we're back to 2 chords of G and we're going to play this pattern. So the first bar of that is G, G, D, E, D, B. G is the 5th fret of the D string again, D is the open D string, E the 2nd fret, back to D, to B, 2nd fret of the A string. And the last bar is, which is G, B, B, D, B. So G, the 3rd fret of the E string, 2 B's the 2nd fret of the A string, D, the 5th fret of the A string, or the open D string if you want, back to B, the 2nd fret of the A string. So that 4-bar pattern, I'll play it through slowly. Okay, then that 4-bar pattern repeats, but the second time through, the first bar is a repeat of the low bar that we just ended the first pattern with. So I'll play the 4-bar phrase. Okay, and that would take us to the pre-chorus. Now that second 4 bars is identical to the first 4 bars, except the first bar is that pattern again, which is the 4th bar of the first 4 bars. So pretty straightforward, that verse. Let's move on and look at the pre-chorus. Okay, the pre-chorus is another 8-bar section. It's pretty straightforward. It goes from C to G to C to G, C to G to A. And what we're going to play is something like this. The first bar of C is, so it's just on the 3rd fret of the A string, the C there. And then for the G bars, we're going to play this pattern, which is G, A, B flat, A, G, E. And the note locations, G, 5th fret of the D string, A, B flat, A, 2nd and 3rd frets of the G string, back to G at the 5th fret of the D string, E at the 2nd fret. And the second C bar, we're going to play this, which is C, C, B, A, G, A, D, 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 D. The two A's, second fret of the G string, the D, the 7th fret of the G string. Now if you have a listen to the original, this is one of those ones where, one of those notes where you can just about hear it in the original recording, and it's really muddy. With modern equipment and how the clarity of the notes will come out, it may be that you'd want to play and play the D an octave lower. In that case was the open D string. Whichever way you choose, the next section is the chorus and the kind of tag on the chorus. So let's go and look at that. Okay, you just heard the chorus being played. Essentially, it's a 2-bar pattern. It's played 3 times. We're going to play 2 G's, 3rd fret of the E string, 2 C's, 3rd fret of the A string, G, E, G, C, E, F, F sharp. So G, 3rd fret of the E string, open E, G, C, 3rd fret of the A string, open E, F at the 1st fret, F sharp at the 2nd fret. And then the 4th time is a slight variation. We play G, G, C, C, G, E, G, C, B, A, G, 2nd fret of the A string, open A, G at the 3rd fret. And that sets us up for that tag where everything kind of plays on the big crashes, and the lyric over the top would be I'm in love, I'm a believer. And the notes we're going to play there, we start off with a G, which is stabbed. Then we've got C, which is held for a bar, G, which is held for a bar, F, which is held for a bar, and then D, which is held for 2 bars while the guitar plays the riff that will then bring us back into the verse. If you cross-reference that with the little play-along at the start of this section of the tape, you'll work that out. Just go through the note location. So the first stab is G, 3rd fret of the E string, C's the 3rd fret of the A string, G's the 3rd fret of the E string, F's the 1st fret of the E string, D, 5th fret of the A string, or open D string. There's one more section we need to look at, and that's the kind of after the second chorus, there's kind of like a little guitar break. It's like a little riff, and there's a slightly different pattern under that, so we're going to look at that. Okay, you just heard that guitar break pattern. Again, it's based on the same chords as the verse, so G to D to G to G. What we're going to play this time, 4-bar pattern repeats twice, slight variation on the last bar we're going to play. So we're going to play G, G, D, G, E, as before, as we did in the verse, so slightly different in that the 2 G's at the front of that first bar are quarter notes rather than playing. So we're playing, so it's slightly more driving. So 5th fret of the D string for G, open D, G, the 5th fret again, E at the 2nd fret. The second bar is D, playing 2 D's, quarter notes, and then 2 D's, E and an F sharp. D is either the open string or the 5th fret of the A string. There's the open string, 5th fret of the A string, and then E and the F sharp leading back to the G of the 2nd and the 4th frets of the D string. And then the last 2 bars we've got this kind of starts on G. We've got this chromatic right going back to the G. So we're playing G, G, D, E, F natural, F sharp, back to G. So it's G, G, 5th fret to the D string, open D, E at the 2nd fret of the D string, F at the 3rd fret, F sharp at the 4th, then we play that pattern again. Okay, that's the 4-bar pattern, and then the next 4 bars, the first 3 are the same, and then the variation is the last one where you just stay on G, and then that'll take you down to sets up the C for the pre-chorus. Love was out to get me, that's the way it seemed, whatever it is, and then from there you're back to that pre-chorus, as I said. From that pre-chorus you go to a normal chorus, and then after that normal chorus you just fade out playing variations of the chorus, just going from G to C. You can play the patterns we use in the chorus, or you can just vamp up or invent your own variations. But that's kind of an authentic way to play through it. It's kind of what I can make out from the original, so put the parts together and you'll be able to get through the tune.